Hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking Mayberry, the show that finally gets to the end of a season of black and white television.
Oh God, it's almost over. We did it, Marty. We fucking did it.
Season 2 of the Andy Griffith Show broke us.
In so many ways.
I'm one of your hosts. I'm Marty Schneider.
I'm the other host. I'm Dan Ludwig.
We're at the end, folks.
I feel like we already had beards, but I feel like emotionally we were clean shaven and we have beards now, and like our clothes are in tatters, but we're on the other side of the desert. Like, we did it.
We came out. Well, we're almost there. The finish line is in sight. Today we are handling the last 2 episodes of Season 2.
And they are punishments.
They suck. By the way, I should point out, Charles Stewart and Jack Ellenson are gone.
Yes! Oh my God!
I just scrolled a little bit through the list of Andy Griffith Show episodes on Wikipedia, and after this we do not see their name. However, the bad news is, that means that these 2 episodes that we're covering today, couple of fucking nobodies. Like, that's why these episodes are so garbage. It's there's nobody here.
It shows.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, the Andy Griffith Show just, like, flips us off on the way out. By giving us nothing, Marty. Nothing! I don't know what the fuck we're gonna talk about for the next hour. We're so boned.
Let's start off with what I've been up to lately.
Oh yeah, Marty, how you been, buddy? Have you gotten into any? I don't know. This is a weird direct thing for me to ask organically, but have you gotten into any feuds lately? You gotten into any tiffs?
Daniel, I'm glad that you asked. I'm glad because I actually did get into a feud.
Really?
Yes, very recently I was in a feud.
Marty, this doesn't sound like you at all.
A tit-for-tat battle of wits, you might say.
You got into a game of cat and mouse.
With, the guy who does Mark Trail.
Yeah.
We've mentioned Mark Trail a few times on this show.
You've mentioned Mark Trail a few times, and I've been like, that sure does exist.
Yeah, look, if you don't know what Mark Trail is, of course, congratulations, you're not 78 years old.
Yeah, or Marty.
Mark Trail is a newspaper comic strip here in America, and it has been around since the 1940s. It's had 3 writers and authors, and it is the story of a nature writer and photographer who lives out in the woods with his family, and his father-in-law is a park ranger, and it's basically a drama strip about it used to be about conservation, and Mark Trail would fight people lighting forest fires and shit. And stuff. And actually, I've been reading the 40s through the 60s Mark Trail, and that shit is really good.
Yeah.
And we've mentioned it a few times because mostly it's known as being a strip where there'll be a picture of a bird up in the foreground, and it just looks like the bird is screaming because the speech bubbles are all directed at the bird, even though it's supposed to be people in the distance.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of like an inside joke, or it's been well known among the newspaper comic community that for a long time it was just running on cruise control, using clips of art assets from the 50s and 60s. And just kind of rearranging them and putting different text and storylines around them.
Yeah.
So about 4 or 5 years ago, this strip was taken over by a guy named James Allen. Mm-hmm. Credit where it's due, I actually really did like the first storyline that James Allen wrote.
Okay, you're not allowed to go into this granular of detail.
Okay. Anyway, so
we're not doing the oral history of this.
Okay, so James Allen is the current author of Mark Trail, and he sucks. He sucks shit.
Yeah.
He cannot fucking draw or pace a story. He once had his characters literally just wandering around a cave for 6 months. And he also is a climate change denier, and I don't believe that a climate change denier should be in charge of a strip about environmentalism. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have been in a Twitter feud with James Allen for a week and a half now?
I think it's no longer, like, the Twitter feud has ended, I believe, now.
It's extinguished, but, like, there's still smoldering embers. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely got under his skin.
I'd say he got under yours.
He took an entire week of his nationally syndicated comic strip to have his characters complain about people being mean in the comments underneath websites hosting newspaper comics.
Yeah.
Like, he took an entire week of that, and somebody on the internet made fun of him for it, and I replied earnestly, and that set him off.
Yeah.
For days.
He just screamed at you. It was...
He also didn't realize that the initial tweet that I was responding to was making fun of him.
Yeah. Which happened a lot because people were jumping in to, like, sarcastically make fun of him, and he was like, "Thank you, Cheryl. I agree that Marty is being an asshole." And it was like if you showed the slightest amount of irony, he would be like, "I agree. Marty is the bad guy here. Thank you, everyone, for being on my side."
And here's the thing. For about an hour or two, I was very excited about this. I was like, oh man, I hope that this ends in me being a bad guy in a Mark Trail strip.
I was pushing that so hard.
I was so excited for this. Dan jumps in, with the Twitter handle #1 Mark Trail fan.
Yep.
and pitches real hard. Hey, what if you made a bad guy in the Mark Trail verse named Marty? Like, that would really show him. We were angling for this so hard. But eventually, though, after like 3 or 4 days, he just became unhinged.
Yeah.
Like, it just became every single argument I've ever had with, like, a MAGA chud boomer on the internet. Just moving goalposts, not responding. But the best part about this is that he said that he was going to show up on my Twitter page and deliver Mark Trail to me every single day.
Not really a thing you can do.
So that I could prove, quote unquote, my claims that he was using clip art. I'm not sure how he expected me to do that. I actually did, like, post 2 very obviously copied and pasted images, and he was just like, well, I just used the same photo reference. Whatever. But here's the thing. He didn't know how Twitter worked, so I didn't realize it until somebody else told me. The very next day, he posts his own strip to his own page, to his 22 followers, and says, there you go, now prove that I'm using clip art. Like 3 or 4 days, over Labor Day weekend, he posts to his own page thinking he's yelling at me.
His kids have heard so much about you, and they are so fucking sick of it.
His kids don't speak to him. Let's be clear on that.
Yeah. Yeah, God. It's the weirdest, because you could have gotten in a feud with so many other comic strip artists, but you couldn't have gotten in a feud with fucking Jim Davis, man.
Jim Davis is chill, dude. Jim Davis would not fight. You know who actually does listen to our podcast now is the cartoonist who makes Over the Hedge. Hi, Michael Fry. Thanks for listening, bud.
Hey, I did not watch the animated movie, but it looked good. Yeah, you could have gotten in a feud with, like, Pearls Before Swine. What about Hagar the Horrible guy? I bet he's a crazy old man.
Oh, dude, Hagar the Horrible has gotten really good lately.
I told my family, I was like, oh, yeah, Marty's in a feud with a Mark Trail guy, and they all, like, gave me blanks. It was, like, comic strip, and we didn't get Mark Trail in, like, Massachusetts, so no one knew what it was. You couldn't have gotten, like, I bet the Get Fuzzy guy has free time on his fucking hands. Damn it. You should just, like, go around, like, starting shit with comic strip writers.
I've actually, like, made friends with comic strip artists via the internet. Will Henry, who does Wallace the Brave, I've been to his like, shop that he owns. We've hung out.
Ah.
It's very weird, but here's the thing. Like, you're right. Why Mark Trail? And can you imagine any internet feud lamer than the Andy Griffith podcast guys are fighting with the guy who makes Mark Trail? Try it. You can't. You fucking can't. You can't come up with anything dumber and lamer than that.
And that's why we've been talking about it as the opener of our show. Welcome to Breaking Mayberry, a show about guys with hyper-specific interests getting into protracted feuds with old men. Welcome.
I'm really surprised, though, because I expected if anyone came at us it was gonna be, like, a member of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they're outside my house with crossbows as we speak.
Give him time, man. I like that all of our enemies have crossbows. Like, and our heads. Like, we don't picture them with guns because that's too serious and real, but we're just like, crossbows. Just like little fires on the end of them.
So that's what I've been up to lately.
Yeah. I've been up to nothing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you want to jump into this?
Alright, so let's get fucking started on this horseshit. Marty,
real quick, I want to give a shout out to our 2 latest Twitter or Patreon subscribers, Dr. Lauren Camachi and Dwayne Maloney. Oh, and Nikki Lee, who is Nikki Nex on Twitter. Thank all 3 of you for supporting us. If you want to help be like these people, join us at patreon.com/breakingmayberry. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, alright, cool. So, Marty, are you ready for our final 2 episodes of this dog shit, miserable, horrible season?
Oh my god. Okay, let's just fucking do this. And I wish we had better stuff, but this season, which has had some extreme highs and terrible lows.
The lows are always grouped together. It's always a valley. Like, it's never just like, this one was shit. It's always like, wow, these 4 episodes are shit.
Yeah, it just ends on, like, a couple of wet farts. Just...
Well, let's talk about Cousin Virgil first, because Cousin Virgil is weird.
Yeah.
That one is strange.
We've made it a point that, like, whenever we do 2 first, we deal with the more interesting episode first, and neither of these are that interesting. So, by a hair, we're going to talk about, Season 2, Episode 30, Cousin Virgil. Originally airs April 30th, 1962, written by Philip Shukin and John L. Green, and directed by President of the Mark Trail Fan Club, Bob Sweeney.
Director of 1964's Son of Flubber, Bob Sweeney.
Here's your one-sentence summary from Wikipedia. Barney's bumbling cousin Virgil, played by Michael J. Pollard, visits Mayberry and ends up causing trouble for Andy. Michael J. Pollard is best known for being a supporting character in the movie Bonnie and Clyde, for which he got an Academy Award nomination.
So this guy's an Academy Award nominee, because the entire time I was like, who is this guy? Who the fuck is this weirdo that they're letting mug to the camera for insane amounts of time?
But he's not famous at this point. He's not famous in 1962.
Well, then what is this? Why did they make these decisions? Because Michael J. Pollard gets just like an insane amount of time to stand in front of the camera and act. And just do things with his face.
He just kind of like smirks and mopes. He does kind of like a half smile, half frown, which is...
Okay, like, the acting... Should we talk about the acting decisions that Michael J. Pollard is making before we get into this?
Let's go ahead and talk about Michael J. You should probably just Google him. I have a couple of, like, visual references. He looks a little bit like Sean Astin.
Yeah,
is
he a cutie? Is he good looking? Because his face is extremely flat and broad, which is like kind of good looking, but also kind of weird. His face looks like he should be heavy set, and he's very thin.
He also looks exactly like Dick Tracy's sidekick, Sam Ketchum. He looks exactly like Sam Ketchum from the Dick Tracy comic strips.
He looks like Bobby Hill's head put on a thin adult body. It's really weird. So this actor comes in and he's... So the character is Barney's dopey cousin. He's described as a goofball and a klutz. And so you'd think that character would be like bumbling and goofy and like kind of over the top. He'd kind of be doing it like Don Knotts, right? He'll be like, woo, I'm wacky.
Yeah, you'd think that you'd get like some ridiculous like Rube Goldberg kind of stuff. Like he just knocks over everything and like that sets off a domino, it hits a mousetrap, which like does like you'd think there would be antics.
Yeah. So I think what he goes for instead, and it's a very interesting acting decision, is erotic Tweety Bird. like he's horny about the mistake he just made. Like he's doing like all of his faces are like, I've been a bad boy, Andy. Oh no, I wrecked your dinner. Oh no.
Yeah, it really feels like they're about to do a scene.
Yeah, he's horny every time he makes a mistake. One point, he crashes a car and he nuzzles the car. Like, he puts his face on the car.
Like that Cronenberg crash movie. Like, where people get horny for car crashes.
Yeah! He's he's like doing a thing of like, how do you want this played? Oh, Bob Sweeney's like, just kind of like wacky, vaudeville. Got it. Erotic as hell. I'm trying to seduce Andy with my mischief. Understood.
So let's fucking do the plot of this show.
Yeah.
All right. So it starts off. Andy gets to work. He's at the jail, and he catches Barney taking a nap in the cot in the back.
Yeah.
We've seen this happen before. We've seen him do this, and
time for a classic AG prank.
Yeah, the AG prank is it's a short tuck, right? He power tucks like Barney into the thing. So
yeah, some nice summer camp shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
which I've tried to do that. I've never seen that work.
It was way funnier when he stole Barney's shoes.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he goes back, he slams the door, he's like, "Hey, Barn, is anyone here?" And Barney, like, is stuck inside of the cot, which we don't actually see. We just see him, like, frantically making the bed afterwards.
Yeah, which, to be clear, this is a thing that can theoretically work on 8-year-olds. Because their bodies are tiny and shitty, and they can't untuck a sheet from under a mattress with sheer force of will. This is a very weak man that gets trapped under a sheet.
And, that's pretty much the first 5 minutes of this episode. Andy says something like, "Oh, Barn, you're working too hard. You know what you should do? You should go in the back and take a nap."
Yeah.
And Barney's like, "Ah, ha, ha." He gets a letter. Barney gets a letter. He says, "Oh, well, speaking of me working too hard, I got some help for us. My cousin Virgil is coming into town from New Jersey."
And he's like, can he help out around the station? Can he have a job? Which is, like, weird. Do you think this was a thing that was at all normal back then? Of like, hey, I got family coming into town just for, like, a quick visit. Can you hire them to do manual labor for me real quick?
That's such a weird fucking thing. And again, it's a thing that would make sense in the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing that would make sense, like, if your brother was coming into town and, like, needed a job immediately. But usually if you, like, have someone get your relative a job, they're staying for a while.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my cousin's new to town. Can he, like, sweep up around your shop until he gets on his feet? This is just, like, he's coming in for the weekend. Like,
he needs a couple of bucks.
Yeah. He's got to pay for that bus ticket to Mayberry.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Can my visiting relative have a job? The correct response is, what? No.
Yeah,
of course not. I don't know this person. No. Like, yeah, extremely weird request, which I can't imagine a time or context in which this is at all normal.
But instead of that, Andy says, "Your cousin Virgil, huh? Isn't he the one that you said was kind of awkward, like kind of a goofball?
All thumbs."
And so what, Andy? Oh no, an awkward, clumsy goofball hanging around the Mayberry Sheriff's Department?
You gave one of those a gun! Like, what's the worst damage he can possibly do? Less than the thing you already got going on. Like, yeah, it's such a weird setup.
It's so fucking weird.
So,
Barney says, oh no, he used to be awkward and clumsy, but now he's grown up a bit and he's really, like, he's doing okay. So,
yeah.
So the gag here is that, like, he's right. Cousin Virgil is still very awkward, very clumsy. He makes a mess of everything. It's very similar to the Jinx episode. Really more how they're handled on, the Jinx is handled on Hey Arnold.
Yeah. Well, Cousin Virgil is just a guy who's really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
And really clumsy. And can't do anything right, and doesn't really seem to be trying that hard at anything. But, like, well, no, he is, like, supposedly trying hard. It does not come across.
Yeah, so, here's our first indication, right? The next scene, Barney and Andy are outside. Andy, for some reason, is just already against this. He's being a real dick about this.
Yeah.
They're waiting for Virgil's bus. A bus pulls up. I want to take a moment to appreciate this bus. This bus looks fucking kick-ass.
I didn't notice the coolness of the bus.
The bus looks kick-ass because it is jacked up, like, on like, risers, essentially. It looks like it came out of Mad Max, so it's one of those, like, sweet, like, pure steel 1960s buses with just, like, heavy siding.
There is a gimp playing a guitar on the front of it.
And a bumper's just sticking out like 1.5 feet in front. This bus fucking rules.
The 810 from hell is here. Woo!
So the bus pulls up.
This wicked-ass bus.
This kick-ass bus. Driven by Rance Howard.
Who is wearing fingerless leather gloves.
Rance Howard, father of Clint and Ron Howard.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so, and he plays the bus driver. A couple of people get on the bus, and nobody gets off. And Andy goes, "What the hell? What?" And he slams on the door. He's like, "Hey, did you have a guy who changed buses in whatever city?" And Rance Howard goes, "Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember. Huh? Here's the weird thing. Here's his suitcase, and he's not here though. Here's a whole bunch of information for you, officers of the law, waiting for a guy to get off of my bus."
Yeah, like. He has to be assuming that they're going to arrest this man.
Yeah, because there are two men in uniform waiting for a guy to get off a bus.
Yeah. So he left all of his shit. It's a mystery of where he is. They just start basically driving around looking for him.
And they find him. They find him walking down a dirt road. And they're
this weird little boy man.
Yeah. And they pick him up and they're like, "Hey man, what the hell? Where you been?" He's like, "Oh, I missed the bus."
No, you're doing too much acting.
Okay.
When you because he's not like upset that he missed the bus. He's like, "I missed the bus. I missed it. It's fine. I missed the bus, and here's why it happened." Like he never sounds upset that he has made a mistake. He always sounds like kind of happy.
No, that's because the music is pulling a lot of the weight and just melodramatizing everything that he does.
Yeah.
There's violin strings everywhere with this poor guy.
Yeah, but he's smiling and he's like, "I missed the bus. I went to get a postcard for you. I thought you would like that. It was going to be a bird saying something. I don't remember what the fucking... Oh, no, it was going to be a fisherman who had a crab stuck to his butt and saying, they're not biting today. And then I went to the post office to mail you the postcard. I'm smiling as I'm saying all of this."
Andy points out, well, the post office that card would have taken a day and a half, and you're here now. You could have just given us the card. Also, did he just wind up not buying the postcard at all?
Yeah, where is it?
Oh my god, he mailed it still, right?
Yeah, definitely still mailed it.
And so there's a moment, after Andy points it out, that, Virgil goes, "Oh yeah. Huh." And that's our introduction to Virgil. He's just kind of dumb. Not in a funny way, not in a goofy way, not in an interesting way. He's just a little slow on the uptake.
I would submit that most of the other stuff that he does is just being dumb and clumsy and not very good. This is the actions of a fucking, brain damaged person.
Yeah, this man needs help. He needs serious help. Yeah,
if I was Andy in the situation, I'd be like, "Okay, man, you grossly undersold this. Where is this person's caretaker?" Because this is the decisions that he made to even buy a postcard already doesn't make sense, and every other decision after that is not a decision that a capable adult should be making.
Yeah, you don't send somebody a postcard when you're going to where they are. You don't send somebody a postcard from a place you stopped on a bus on the way to go to the...
Hey, greetings from the state you're already in. Yeah, he was in the state.
Yes.
They found him on the side of the road. He was one bus stop away from their town. So he was basically sending them a postcard from Mayberry to Mayberry.
Welcome to Bayberry County.
Yeah.
Wish you were here. Oh, wait, you are.
Yeah. Insane. That's an insane decision. What the fuck? And then he makes two insane decisions after that. So Andy should have been like, "Barney, what the fuck did you just bring to this town? This feels abusive that you let him come here."
Yeah, this guy feels like he should not be on his own. And this dude is so weird. There's just so many, long pauses while he doesn't, he calculates what's going on.
He is so fucking creepy. Cousin Virgil creeps the living shit out of me because he's doing that, I'm a naughty baby thing whenever he makes a mistake. And also he does like long pauses where he doesn't blink and just stares at people. And he fucking nuzzles everything. Like whenever he's done something bad, he just like buries his head in his shoulder and something. It's so creepy.
It's so fucking weird.
It's so weird.
So weird.
The actor is making bewildering, terrible choices. And this is the most layup character to act. You just do Goofy. You're just wacky. You just literally do Goofy from a Goofy movie.
Yeah, you literally just this was about the time when they were making the Goofy cartoons, like how to set up your television. So they're back at Andy's house. Barney and Virgil show up and they're wearing the same suit. They're both wearing Don Knotts' stupid heavy wool suit. Which looks a little bit like, on these two skinny men, it looks a little bit like David Byrne, like, doing the Stop Making Sense.
It kinda does. It looks like they're about to do a close-up magic routine with it, which they actually are.
They actually are.
They look like the shittiest magicians.
And that's exactly what happens, because they do a shitty magic trick. Cousin Virgil shows Andy a card, tells Andy to pick a card. It's the Ace of Spades. And then he says, okay, I'm going to shuffle these together. And he shuffles them together like a person who doesn't fully have motor skills.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at shuffling cards, but like he's just kind of like shuffling them and like, oh, let me push these together and bend this. And like, again, it makes it very uncomfortable.
I'm actually formulating a theory. Do you think Cousin Virgil is about having a person with a disability in your life?
I mean,
like in extremely crude 1960s language?
I mean, maybe, but like they don't make that blatant enough. You know, maybe there were. Maybe
this is like them trying to talk about it, but they don't have any of the language and they don't know what a disability is
they don't know what like Asperger's is, right?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
So I'm sure there were lots of people in the 60s who were Cousin Virgil.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, you would have people with, like, who were on the spectrum or who had, like, various disabilities in your life, and they probably had no idea what the fuck they were.
And that does like, explain a lot of Pollard's acting decisions, because he's acting like a person who doesn't know what facial expression he should be making to convey his emotion.
Yeah, because he keeps just saying he's sorry, but not conveying apology in any way.
Cousin Virgil's autistic.
Or we're grossly giving this show too much credit, and I cannot tell which it is. But that could be it.
I like the idea, and also it makes us seem like assholes for talking about how weird and creepy he is. But, like, played straight, he's weird and creepy. But if you imagine, like, oh, this is a person with autism that we just don't know has autism, it's a little different.
It's not a good portrayal of someone with a disability still.
No,
like,
it's not.
I don't think it's an accurate portrayal of the way anyone with any sort of disability acts in any of these situations.
But it is a good portrayal of how people would think autism looks before they knew what autism was. I'm going to make that my working thesis. That's a good call. I think this episode is about, like, a guy who has autism, but we don't actually know that, and they didn't know that in 1962. They didn't know what they were writing. Which makes the ending of this seem kind of sweet.
No. Because they basically just discover that he's a savant.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so
holy shit, this really holds up.
Let's keep going. So he does the card trick, and he's like, "Hey, look, I found your card. It's the Ace of Spades." And then he drops the deck, and it's all Ace of Spades. It's a trick deck. And Opie has a line like, "That's a good trick, Virgil, but it does messes it up if you drop the cards. Thanks, Ope."
Yep, thanks for explaining the thing, Ron Howard.
Thanks for your contribution here. Dude, Ron Howard hasn't done shit all season long.
They have given him nothing to do. He just, like, pops up and he's like, "Hey, who wants to hear a knock-knock joke? Hey, let me explain the plot for anyone my age who's not totally following this. All right, I'm out. Hey, where's my ride? Hey." Like,
he just walks off of the set and just pops up, like, lights a cigarette.
Yeah.
Immediately.
If you actually follow the movements of Ron Howard in this season very closely, you can see him lighting a cigarette just as he's walking off frame. Like,
you can catch it.
You can catch a couple of times. You can see someone handing him, like, a glass of whiskey as he's walking.
He's the baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes, yeah. He's like, goodbye, Pa. I need to go off to school for the rest of the episode. And then just, like, he's just waving someone over for a cigarette as he's, like, leaving. He's got nothing.
So they sit down to dinner. Aunt Bee brings out a pot roast or something.
Just a slab of meat.
I'm going to say it's a pot roast.
Sure.
And there's just some, like, slapstick comedy here. Virgil, like, gets up to, like, help Aunt Bee with the roast. And everyone's like, no. Don't you touch that.
Yeah.
And he steps in and is like, I'll take the meat. I'll take this. And you think it's all solved. And then Barney asks Virgil to pass the butter. And he passes the butter by basically, like, slide tackling across the table?
Yeah, he does a solid forward jab through the meat.
Yeah.
Like,
so he punches the plate and knocks the pot roast into Andy's lap.
Yeah. Which, honestly, not that bad. Like, that's not... You can still eat that pot roast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy's got to go change his clothes, but whatever.
Yeah.
In the next scene, he's wearing a brand new, very clean pair of slacks. Actually, he's still in his uniform. He's still in his uniform, and he's at home, which is very weird.
The times Andy is not wearing his uniform is strange. It's like, I feel like they take him out of uniform very sparingly because they're like, otherwise our audience might forget he's the sheriff.
Yeah, it's like 8 o'clock at night. He has eaten dinner, and he's still in full uniform.
This show has made me so condescending towards 1960s people because I'm like... I'm now thinking that if Andy Griffith shows up not in his sheriff's uniform, they're just like, who the hell is that? Oh, it's Andy. It's Andy. Okay, cool. Whoo! I was worried there for a second. I thought the flannel freaked me out. Like, I'm just treating them all as parakeets now. Because this show does. This show treats them as chimps. And I'm like, were people in the 60s fucking morons?
And that's pretty much it. They just talk about how Virgil's nervous. The next scene, like, they've eaten the food. Andy's changed into his other uniform for some reason. That's the best part, is his uniform was dirty.
Yeah.
He had a reason to go put on pants.
This is a great opportunity to change into some
jeans or some shit.
Yeah, so fucking weird. So, they continue the dinner. What the fuck happens in the remainder of the dinner?
Okay, not a whole lot. The next thing that really happens is, like, they're all standing around Aunt Bee, Opie, Andy, and Barney, and they're, like, talking about how Virgil gets really nervous and awkward and stuff and doesn't really know what to do with himself. And then Andy's like, wait, where is Virgil now? And Opie says, oh, he said he was going to go drive the squad car and bring it around for you, Barney.
Oh, yeah!
And then they all go, what? And they just they run out onto the porch just in time to see
Virgil crash a car.
Yeah, Virgil just, like, screaming, going like 20, 30 miles an hour into the driveway backwards and just crashes right into their garage.
So, Virgil doesn't total a car, but he destroys that garage.
Yeah, that garage door is fucked.
Yeah. So, and this is the thing that really cemented Virgil as, like, being poorly acted and or creepy to me, because I can't emphasize this enough. He nuzzles the car. He gets out and he says, like, I'm sorry, Barney, I guess I really messed up. Smiles really big, and then just, like, the camera gives him, like, 5 seconds to just act, and he just, just does real big eyes at the camera and then just kind of, like, nuzzles the car and then looks back up. That's the other thing
that's weird about this, and it's not Michael J. Pollard's acting. It's very weird, like, choices on Bob Sweeney's part to just hold the camera on him for 5, 10, 15 seconds longer than necessary.
And Pollard has no idea what the fuck he's supposed to do in this time. It's so weird. Yeah. The character just is this vortex of everyone, of the writing, the acting, and the directing all making extremely weird decisions.
Everything about this is so gross. And not gross, but it's off-putting. This is a very off-putting episode.
Yeah, it feels like no one, like, each had different ideas about who the character was. I feel like Pollard was trying to be, like, the sexy, like, guy. Like, I feel like he was trying to break out as, like, a heartthrob. And they were like, no, we gave you the dumb guy. You're not going to be you're not going to break out as, like, a sex symbol with this. He was like, fucking watch me. Watch me. I'm going to take the nation by storm with your bumbling character.
In 5 years, when I play a sidekick to Warren Beatty.
That'll show all of you.
The next day, they're at the jail. I think by this point, Andy's had it, right? Andy's just like, that boy has got to go.
Because he destroyed his garage.
Right. And, like, while I am, Andy, I empathize with Andy. Little hypocritical of you, bud. Little hypocritical that this guy is the guy that you're like, I gotta fucking kick out. But you keep Barney around all the time. You know why? Because Cousin Virgil has committed the worst sin that you can do in Mayberry.
Was that?
Not being from Mayberry.
Well, yeah, he's already on extremely thin ice. And then I can't about this enough. He did destroy Andy's garage, Marty. Okay? Like, that is like, I get it's a little hypocritical because he does tolerate horrible behavior from most people around him, but also, he destroyed his garage.
That's true.
I'm pretty on board with Andy's whole deal in this, because he's like, it's just in terms of a practical sense, like, this guy is destroying all of my property.
Yeah.
Get him the fuck away from my family.
The next day, they're at the jailhouse. Andy's not there. It's Barney and Virgil. And Virgil's just like, he's real sad. He's like, I'm sorry I did that, Cousin Barney. Is there any way I can help? Is there anything I can do? Anything? And Barney's just like, here, just sweep. Here's the broom, just sweep. You can't break anything while you're sweeping. So of course he breaks something while he's sweeping.
Of course.
Trying to get the broom into the dustpan. He's trying to use that without, like, an actual small little whisk broom. And while he's doing that, he backs the broom handle into a glass cabinet that's got a bunch of, like, law books in it.
Yeah.
And he breaks the glass.
Law books they have never, ever used.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Barney just comes in and he's like, oh my god, Virgil, Jesus Christ, Virgil.
It's just over and over again of Virgil breaks a thing, and then they go, Virgil, and then Virgil does, like, 10 seconds of mugging. And then they just rinse and repeat that until we get to the eventual point of the fucking episode.
Which is right now.
Yeah.
Finally, Barney's like, okay, what's something I can give you that you can't fuck up? Here. And he goes to the hangar where they've got the keys. He's like, these keys are rusty. Go clean these keys.
Mm-hmm.
And he specifically says, go clean the keys with sandpaper. So I'm going to blame Barney partially for this.
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell? Like,
if you can, like, destroy keys with sandpaper, don't use sandpaper on keys.
Yeah, at all. But, so Andy comes in, and he's pissed off because Virgil's there.
Yeah.
He's like, God damn it, I don't want this kid fucking here.
Yeah.
An alarm clock goes off. Barney's like, what the hell's that? And he says, I set an alarm for Otis. I said I would wake him up because he's got a job interview.
Which, incredible.
Yeah.
That someone wants to hire the drunkest man in the county.
But yeah, so that's, positive development for Otis, if nothing else, right? Otis is getting his shit together.
It's just a hill to slide back down, man. He's... In any sort of, like, coherent continuity, Otis would be dead by season 4.
Oh, clearly.
Yeah.
But, so, okay, he says, alright, well, I gotta get Otis ready for his job interview. Good friend, Andy. So they gotta unlock the cell to get Otis out. Barney calls for Virgil. Virgil enters with the keys, very clean, completely different prop. And now the key doesn't work anymore. They stick the key in the lock, and it doesn't turn.
Right.
The key, Barney tries it, Andy tries it. Then Andy goes, crap. Virgil sanded this down so well, cleaned this so well, that he sanded all the teeth off the key, and now it doesn't work anymore. Which, why did Barney tell him to use sandpaper in the first place? To get rust off? What?
Do you think, so this is not Charles Ellison and Jack Stewart,
no.
Right? So this is new guy.
Yeah.
So, like, they managed to somehow downgrade from Charles Ellison and Jack Stewart, who don't understand how human beings work, to a guy that doesn't understand how keys work. Because you can't do that. That's not a thing you can do. Also, these were, like, giant toy keys. Like, ridiculous. Like, they're just, like, giant hunks of metal that look like you would get in Banjo-Kazooie to open a door. Like, they look like something from an old video game.
I'm looking now, and I think... Yeah, so this was written by Philip Shukin and John L. Green. We're never going to see Philip Shukin ever again.
Yeah.
John L. Green, we'll see him 2 or 3 more times through the rest of the series. But, yeah, so, complete nobody. Just, like, was this a spec script? I think
this is, like, they were like, alright, Charles Ellison and Jack Stewart are, they're gone. Harvey Bullock can only take so much time out of his schedule with the Gotham PD to write episodes for us. All right, kids, you're coming up to the majors. What you got? What if a guy was awkward? Okay, you get out of my office. All right, who's the next up to bat? Oh God, Otis is a deputy now. Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, so...
Oh God, I don't know. What if there was a guy who was bad at things? On the Andy Griffith Show, that is a guest character premise? What?
And so, that's fucking it. Finally, like, they yell at Virgil. They're like, God damn it, Virgil, how did you fuck this one up? And now we've got stakes. We've introduced stakes to the Andy Griffith Show. They're very low stakes, but Otis will miss his...
Otis will just straight up not get the job.
Yeah, Otis is going to miss his job interview. And if he misses his job interview, he's going to die. He's going to go straight into giving himself liver cirrhosis.
Yeah.
He drink so hard.
No, he'll sober up because he won't be able to afford alcohol. And he'll just be like, oh my God, look at the wreckage that is my life. My wife hates me. How did I do this?
That pretty much is almost the next episode.
Yeah.
So Barney, like, they yell at Virgil, and then Barney leaves because he's got to go do something. He's got an idea to help get Otis out. And Andy goes to his desk because he's digging around. He's looking for some keys or for some tools.
Before he leaves, Barney lays into Virgil. Like, just, like, basically calls him a useless piece of shit. Because he's like, all you ever are is sorry. You just apologize all the time. You never do anything right. He's not like, you're not trying hard enough. He's not like, you need to focus. He's just like, why do you suck so bad? Inherently. Why are you such a worthless human being? Explain your shittiness to me, Virgil. Like, he's not yelling at him for, like, a personal or mental failing. He's just like, you suck.
Yeah.
You suck, homie.
It tears him apart.
Fuck you.
And then leaves.
Fuck you. And then bounces. Yeah. It's not helpful or constructive in any way.
It's very funny, though.
Yeah.
It's so mean. And so funny.
It's so needlessly mean.
Andy is at his desk digging around for some tools because he's going to try to get Otis out that way. I don't know. He's going to try to pry the door open. I don't know. And Otis is just like, guys, come on, help me out here. Opie wanders in carrying, like, a wooden cowboy and a wooden, like, dog. He's like, I got some new toys, Pa. And Andy's like, yeah, I'm not paying attention. I'm not looking at you.
I'm not going in on this with you.
Yeah, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
But he's, like, doing that dad thing where, like, dads only half pay attention to what their kid's saying. He's like, I'm busy right now. And Opie says, I bet you think I got these from a store, don't you, Pa? Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. I didn't. Virgil made them. And that piques Andy's attention. He's like, wait, did you say that Virgil?
Well, I think what initially piques his interest is, Virgil is interacting with my son without my immediate... has he been near you with his hands that break things? That destroyed my garage? It's like paternal instinct kicks in.
And once he's ascertained that, like, no bones are sticking out of Opie's skin,
he destroy you like he destroyed my favorite garage.
And he picks up the cowboy, and he's like, well, this is a fine whittled cowboy, I guess. It's just, he whittled a cowboy out of wood. It's just a wooden sculpture.
Yeah.
Kind of neat, whatever.
That's cool.
And he, like, looks at Virgil, and he's like, you made this with, like, a knife? And you still have fingers? What? How?
Yeah.
How are you not bleeding right now?
How am I not taking you to the emergency room as we speak?
And Virgil's just like, I mean, my dad taught me to do this. My dad's a cabinet maker, and he's a wood carver. And he's the best wood carver in our entire town. He built everything.
You're doing a very good job of doing the character's voice right now.
I can't do it, though. Why? He taught me how to do this, but I get nervous when people are watching. I can only do it when no one's watching. Otherwise, I get nervous.
And that's the end of that.
That's how that goes.
So, yeah. And then Andy's like, okay, I just immediately figured out your entire deal. You're an idiot savant. or just a normal savant, if depending on whether or not you actually have a disability. Still me, Andy Griffith, talking. I'm kind of puzzling this all out as I'm talking. So I think what we're going to do is everyone's going to turn around. Otis is going to turn around in his cell. I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to take my son away from you because you destroyed my garage. And then we're going to go outside. You're going to whittle keys, which I'm not going to give you any instructions on how that works. Just do it. Just go for it. I feel keys, just make them. Just make some keys.
That's... we should really level up your locksmith skills a little bit, grind a little bit, and put those extra points up in locksmith. You'll be fine. You
can't just look at a lock and then look at a piece of wood and be like, I know the teeth. You have to make a key by by having a reference thing.
What Virgil actually does is he just takes the door off.
So he's just a general genius handyman.
Yeah, he just unscrews the hinges and just undoes the pin. Which, super secure fucking jail you got there, Andy Griffith.
Well, they have had, 4 jailbreaks this this season.
He just leaves him alone for a couple minutes. He goes out in the back room and smokes a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's just a shot of Andy just hanging out on the cot, just smoking a cigarette, just... Well...
Smooth.
Guess it's about that time.
Just, Opie, you want one?
Aw, children, look how cool this is. Man Andy.
Me,
Marlboro Lights.
Your father figure teaching you that this is cool.
He does look cool as fuck.
God, yeah.
He looks so cool.
Whenever Andy Griffith, the actor, decides to be at all roguish, it's so fucking cool. To go back to Face in the Crowd, him drinking, alcohol looks cool as fuck.
Looks so cool.
He could have been such a fucking badass, man.
I'm telling you, he could have gone I've said it before. He could have been a Rat Pack member easily.
Oh, 100%.
He could have hung out with Dino and Frank very easily.
Yeah.
So he all right, well, I finished this pack, so I'm gonna... I like the idea he was just chain smoking back there.
Yeah. Just he sits up and there's just a small pile of cigarette butts underneath where he was standing.
They just fall from the,
Just shower off of him.
Yeah. And then he comes out and he's like, oh, well, good job. You got the door off, and now Otis can go get cleaned up. And Otis yeah, I'm just gonna make it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, outside, Barney is
He's tying the police cruiser to the bars of the window. He's doing an old-timey jailbreak.
Yes.
And then just as they open up the cell, Barney rips out the back of the jail cell. And Andy's just good job, Barney, you asshole. When in reality, solid plan, I'd say.
Yeah, that's not Barney's fault at all. Barney's a man of action.
Yeah. I mean, should he have, checked with you first? Yes. Should he have yelled, I'm about to rip out the back of our masonry? But,
I think he does yell, stand back, or something like that.
Still, yeah, he should have been hey, I got a plan. What's our budget for repairs for the next 3 years? I'm about to use all of it.
And so that's it. And finally, the stinger here is Virgil gets back on the bus, and Barney's boy, isn't it weird how me and Virgil are related? He's all thumbs and goofy and awkward. And then, okay, so they have this conversation where they're do you think Virgil's ever going to amount to something? That's exactly what Barney says. And Andy goes, I'm sure he will, now that he's on the right track. They just checked him into rehab?
I know! And it's such a fucking condescending thing to, be of someone you know, do you think they're ever gonna be worth shit?
Yeah, and Andy's well, we fixed him up good. No, you didn't!
You figured out, what is he gonna do? Be a fucking, wood carver that can never be seen by anybody?
He's just gonna live in the woods?
Yeah!
And just, in a cave, just be a hermit that just leaves children, wood carvings? And actually, this sounds cool as shit.
He's gonna be the Thomas Pynchon of wood carvings.
He's gonna be Johnny Appleseed in this whole shit, just...
This actually whips ass and I'm on board. I love this.
But yeah, they're such fucking dicks about it.
They're such turds.
Yeah, he's a clumsy dude. He's not a heroin addict.
Yeah,
asshole.
They get so mad about clumsiness. And they really should just be hey man, we're just gonna stop giving you delicate shit to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the character sucks. The whole plot of the dynamic between them and Virgil sucks. They're assholes. Virgil doesn't make any fucking
Nothing
sense.
made no sense.
Yeah.
Dude needs to get his inner ear checked.
Them trying to do a story about having a disability, but not understanding how disabilities that aren't physical work.
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely, like, you ever notice how some people are weird and can't seem to do stuff right for reasons that don't totally make sense, and then their facial expressions are weird when they do that?
This is definitely based off of Philip Shukin's little brother that, like, the family doesn't talk about.
Yeah. Like, they definitely, like, they call him, like, a chowderhead, like, but not, like, in an angry way. They're just like, your brother that's got that chowderhead thing. Yeah.
So, Barney does this bit, like, it's amazing how, we're the same cousins, we're the same blood, and he's all thumbs and goofy and awkward, and me, I'm prime of my life, alert, aware of everything, so good at everything because I'm Barney Fife. And then he steps off the curb and a car nearly hits him.
Yeah.
And
it's always...
honestly, the route I thought they were going to go with this, the funny route to take with this, was I thought that Cousin Virgil was actually going to be hyper competent. I thought it was going to be another, like Barney gets jealous thing. I thought that, like, he was going to show up and Cousin Virgil was going to be like, yeah, no, I was awkward, and then I hit a growth spurt, and now I'm, like, super handsome and competent, and everybody loves me.
It's literally, they always do this, where, like, they set up the sitcoms for the last 30, 40 years have basically been like, we set up a premise, and then we invert that premise. So, that's what we're expecting, is, like, a thing that would be funny and surprising. This show never surprises you. They just say, like, this thing, a guy's gonna come to town, and he's gonna be a real goofball, and then a goofball comes to town.
Hooray!
They'd be like, this guy's coming to town, he's a criminal, and then a criminal comes to town. The person they say is coming to town is always who comes to town. They're never surprised by the person that shows up. Like, the people that show up, they never have, like, hidden layers. Like, Barbara Eden walks on and is like, she's a hot lady, and Barbara Eden's like, I'm a hot lady! No other depths! like, that guy seems like a bad guy from the way he looks and moves. I'm a bad guy.
Look at how I look and move.
Yeah, I sure love looking and moving the way I am deep down in my soul. Like, it's all like Andy and Barney every single episode judge a book by its cover, and then the inside of the book is just, hey, you could have just looked at the cover, man. It's so dumb.
They judge this book by its cover, and then every single page of the book is a picture of the cover.
Yeah, that's so much better. Yeah. But they never, like, every single episode, we could have just, like, taken the initial premise, and then your brain immediately auto-completes a good version of that episode.
And it's never what happens.
It's like the Google search bar, where, like, it's like your brain just did that, where it's like, Barney's clumsy cousin comes to town, and then you didn't type in the remainder, and Google just fills in, and then he's better at he's better at everything than Barney. Like, yeah, my brain has been doing that for like the last 5 episodes. Okay, so so that's the stinger.
Ratings? This episode sucks. Andy meter, how good is this episode?
1.
Yeah, 2.
Moral reprehensibility, 1.
I mean, I'm gonna say like a 3. It's pretty gross no matter how you slice it, so I'm gonna put it at a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 3 just because, like, in the case that it's not about autism, then it's deeply creepy and I want to fire Cousin Virgil into the sun. Because if they're just doing that on the basis of this is a guy, then what the fuck? Horrible episode, horrible character.
The next episode, final episode of the season, is Season 2, Episode 31. These seasons are so long.
I know, it's
31 episodes.
Because these cost no money to make. They had 2... Marty, the last 4 episodes that we've done have had 2 sets. Yeah. It's been jail, second place, jail, second place, end of show. Like, their set budget was nothing.
Here we go, Season 2, Episode 31, Deputy Otis. Originally airs May 7th, 1962, written by Is Ellenson, Jack Ellenson's little brother, and Fred S. Fox, and directed by President for Life of the Beef Stabilization Board, Bob Sweeney. Thank you very much, Ingrid, on the Patreon Discord.
His annual pocket square budget is $36,000, Bob Sweeney.
And here's your one-sentence summary. Andy makes Otis a temporary deputy so he can impress his visiting brother Ralph, Stanley Adams, and his wife, whom he told really was a deputy. That grammatically feels wrong.
It's not great, but it's Wikipedia. These poor people are doing it for free. Who plays Ralph? Who is this dude? Because he feels like a famous guy. He's actually a pretty fucking good actor.
The brother is played by Stanley Adams. Here's the Wikipedia article for Stanley Adams. Stanley Adams was an American actor and screenwriter. He appeared in many television series and films, notably Breakfast at Tiffany's, Lilies of the Field, and TV series from Gunsmoke to Star Trek. He died in 1977 as the result of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Christ!
At the age of 62. We need to stop doing this.
Oh my god!
Every time we look up an Andy Griffith guest star.
It's like that I Think You Should Leave sketch where they read off the way all the people in the in memoriam died. Well, other TV show podcasts don't have this problem because they do shows from the last 30 to 40 years where everyone who's been on it isn't dead. So now we just have we have to stop looking at deaths because we're just running into the fact that mortality is grisly and a lot of people do not die well.
Oh shit, they've just got a link to his obituary in the Times. All right.
Do you want to just really bring this this low-key episode up a notch and just read off how this dude fucking expired?
He killed himself.
At least it's not like Doodles Weaver where he shot himself twice in the head.
All right.
Wow. So, oh my god, the end of season 2 is just merciless. This is Marty, it feels like we're in the boss battle of season 2.
This is the Sephiroth.
Yeah. Just literally the moment that you said that, I was like, oh god, the finale of season 2 has taken its final form. So we can make this entertaining. The episode
starts with Barney and Andy pulling up to the jail. It's like a Saturday morning and they're showing up for work and they're locked out. Andy forgot his keys. Barney forgot his keys. I want to know whose keys they were using to power the car. So they're locked out. They go, well, shit, how are we going to get in? And they go, oh, wait, you know what? It's Saturday morning. That means that Otis came in last night. Apparently they just let Otis just wander in as they want.
How is he, if the door is locked, how is he getting in?
How did Otis get in? Does Otis have keys?
I mean, I guess that's fine. The most prolific criminal in the town has keys to the jail is cool.
So they go, they're like, all right, well, Otis is probably in jail. He can let us in. They go to the back window and Andy knocks on the back window, which we know has no glass. They do a knocking, noise, but he's clearly knocking on nothing. He's knocking on the air between the bars. The same air between the bars that we just watched Barney tie a rope between.
This show is such ass. You know that Charles Stewart's little brother wrote that shit in, and Bob Sweeney got into that scene and he was like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to have him mime knocking on air and then edit in the sound of knocking on glass. This is probably what got these two guys fired. Yeah. Ellison and Fox. They were like, it's our time to shine. Move aside, big brother. And then just whiffed it real hard.
Horrible.
Can we just talk about... This episode feels insanely short. This episode feels like...
it goes really fast. It goes really quickly.
Show notes for this took no time. I was like it feels like it's 10 minutes. There's nothing. It's insane. And
it's very weird because, again, there's a good setup and then they do nothing with it. So let's push forward and get to the setup because I want to talk about this. So Otis is like, all right, fine. He wakes up. He's grouchy. He's like, you guys woke me up. I didn't get 8 hours of sleep. He goes and lets them in. And he's like, God damn it, this place is as bad as home. If I wanted to be woken up, I would have been at home with my bitch wife.
My fucking nagging bitch wife, who I fucking hate. Yeah. That goddamn harlot. I hate her.
She's never shuts up.
She's a shrew. Jesus, Otis. He seriously goes off on his fucking wife.
He's just like, the actual line is like, if I wanted to be woken up, I would have stayed home with my yammering wife. But he's just got so much anger.
And then he's just like, yammer, yammer, yammer. That's all she does. That's not how Otis sounds, but it's, yeah.
So then he goes back to his cell, basically. He's like, all right, I'm going to go back to sleep now. Barney's going through the mail, and he's throwing away stuff like occupant, occupant, occupant. We get another gag. I like these gags. Got another letter from the Hubacher brothers. They're in jail. It's been 2 years. They had a big party at the state penitentiary, so they get cards from these guys in prison.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Anyway. It's a nice moment.
But here's the plot of the episode that shows up. There's a letter for Otis.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy's like, why are they sending you a letter here? And Barney says, why not?
Yeah. Like, yeah, this is about as, 50% likely where he'd be. More so, probably.
He opens up the letter, and he asks Andy to read it because he doesn't have his glasses. Is Otis illiterate? Maybe. And
could be. Now, Otis can read. Otis is I think I want to go, Otis rules.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that,
Otis.
Except for that one detail early in the thing about hating his wife, which we pretend that doesn't exist because he's a shining light in this show that we need everything we can get through.
So let us have this.
It was one line. Let's just pretend this show decides so many things aren't canon, including one of Andy's girlfriends. Let's just decide that that's not canon sometimes. But other than that, Otis fucking rules. Like, Otis, I feel like if he's like Barney from The Simpsons, where if he stopped drinking, he could do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Otis is the best character. But anyway, he gets a letter that his brother Ralph is coming to town. And that makes what tips Andy off is there's a P.S. P.S. I made a joke that we don't have to worry about any speeding tickets coming through Mayberry because you can fix it for us. Ha ha.
Can we? So this is a letter from his brother's wife, right?
Right.
His brother's wife is into Otis.
A little bit, yeah.
His brother's wife is like, I married the wrong brother. That is a flirt text. If you got that text, you would be like, hey, something's going on.
By the way, we've seen this actress before on this show. It's the same actress that played Miss Rosemary, who Barney had a crush on early on in season 1.
Miss Rosemary, who Barney got with, and then he used a Firestone on her, and then she evolved into Betty Lynn, and then he used a Moonstone on her, and she evolved into Thelma Lou.
Yes.
Because he didn't, break up with Miss Rosemary. He they just slotted new women into Barney's dating life.
Yeah, so this woman has been on the show before. The actress's name is Amesy Strickland.
Hell yes! Amesy.
So...
God, old-timey names used to be... it felt like they were just going, freestyling. The dad they would just be like, hey, Mr. Strickland, your wife had a... they were yelling down the hall. Your wife had a girl, and he just, leans into their room. Amesy! What? I'm not repeating myself. Just write down what you think you heard me say. And that's how they got all their names.
That's so much better than today's crop of Lakins, Akins, Kalins, Raylins.
It's all the names we hear in this are my name's Thomas, my name's Jonathan, Frommigan. It does sound like the person naming them was drunk.
Ramekin Johnson.
Yeah. Libbels. I'm a woman and my name is Libbels. Every 10th name is batshit.
Andy says, what the hell does that mean? You can fix it, ha ha. And Otis comes to the conclusion, he's like, oh man, dude, okay, so sometimes when I'm in here, I steal your stationery and I write letters to my brother, because what else am I going to do? And I mail them, and I guess they saw the letterhead that said Mayberry Sheriff Department, and I guess they figure I must be working for the Sheriff Department, because that's where I send them letters from.
Yeah. Which, what the fuck is he writing letters to his brother about? He doesn't really have anything going on. He doesn't tell them about his drinking, which is basically his hobby and life. He doesn't really have a job, and his wife hates him. So, what updates are he providing?
Dear brother, still Otisin'.
Yep, just Otising it up. You know me. Wife still thinks I'm a piece of shit. He's probably... Back then, they probably just wrote letters, and they were just like, you catch the Steelers? Fuck. Like, those are the...
Just writing details of a baseball game that happened 6 weeks ago.
Like, dearest Thomas, the pitcher for the Orioles looks pretty good this year. By the time you receive this, we'll know for sure.
Hal Smith delivers this monologue, basically. It's like the fucking John Candy, my wife likes me monologue in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. He's just like, I'm sorry, Auntie, but I was just compared to Ralph my whole life. You know, I no one in my family has ever liked me. I wanted them to be proud of me. I'll fix this whole thing up. And, like, Hal Smith is nailing this shit.
Yeah.
And Andy says, well, fuck it. I can make you a deputy for the day. Yeah. Yeah,
which is, like, pretty good move on Andy's part. So, which then treats us to a prolonged episode of Barney Fife Has a Fit, which we haven't gotten one of in a while. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot how much these fucking annoy me. Cause, like, Don Knotts goes through the rounds. Like, he like huffs and flaps his arms, and he does like the whole like thing that he does when he's like upset, where he just kind of makes like a moaning whine. I fucking hate. He turns into a Muppet when he's upset, like just a Muppet that you're shaking. Like upset Don Knotts looks like he should be on the Dark Crystal. Like he looks like he should be in the background of a Skeksis scene.
Andy's, like, pro-Otis argument is that Otis ain't a bad fella. He's one of the nicest fellas I know. He says that we lock him up for drinking so that he doesn't hurt himself.
Yeah.
Not because he's danger to anyone, because he's a danger to himself.
That's...
And his logic is, actually, he does a great service for the town because he drinks all the booze before anyone else can. You're a terrible lawman.
The worst.
You're so bad at this fucking job, Andy.
Which, 100% not how a market works. Like, they're never like, oh no, this guy gave us all this money for our product. I guess the number of product that we have is going to stay the same forever. We definitely don't have capital to invest back into into our still. We definitely can't up production.
Otis comes out and he's wearing a uniform. Gets his hat lying around back there that fits him. Barney's really mad.
They're their fat guy uniform, yeah.
Andy swears him in, and then Barney, like, does this bit like, well, excuse me, Andy, you missed a couple of things there. And he's like, no, I didn't. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Let me do this. There's a really funny bit where...
Hal Smith crushes this scene.
It's so funny. Barney, like, makes him do a repeat after me. I will not dishonor my post. I will
behave in a manner befitting a deputy.
Yeah, that's right. I will behave in a manner befitting a deputy. Hal Smith repeats it. I will behave in a manner befitting a deputy. Barney says, I will not have a drink of alcohol while I'm wearing the uniform. And Hal Smith says, I will behave in a manner befitting a deputy.
Yeah. And then Barney's like, I said repeat after me, and he just goes, don't help me. I need a second. I need to work on it. It's so good.
There's a little bit of, like, physical comedy standoff between Hal Smith and Barney Fife, or Hal Smith and Don Knotts, which is also pretty good. They have, like, a little, like, fight over how to do a proper salute.
Yeah.
That's good. You've given us a good premise. The town drunk has to be a deputy for the day and pretend to be respectable. That rules.
So you set it up. This is the setup. All you have to do is just do antics from here. Take Hal Smith, put him in a deputy uniform, give him authority, set him loose in the town. Probably what would happen is Otis would abuse his authority, but ultimately learn a lesson about why he's not allowed to do that. Him abusing his authority would be fucking funny. And then at the last second have Ralph show up and say, like, oh, I always loved you and you always inspired me, and now I'm gonna leave. I didn't need you to be a deputy for me to be proud of you. You just had to be my brother.
Yeah, that's it. Put the Don Knotts and Hal Smith are funny together.
Yeah.
Put them out on patrol together. Have Barney train him. It's gonna be real funny. There's a good dynamic there to play off of.
This is such a layup.
And that's not what they do at all.
They go in such a weird, dumb direction that morally does not make any sense. There is no coherent idea of what right and wrong is.
So, the next scene is in the car.
Yeah.
Ralph's wife, so Ralph and his wife are driving to town, and they're having an argument where Ralph says, he's like, I don't think my brother's really a deputy, or I didn't think he'd become anything. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I think it's
and he's
bullshit.
like, I think I'm suspicious that this isn't real. And then his wife is just like, I am so hot for your brother. Like, she's just like, your brother is fucking awesome. He's a real great guy, and you're a piece of shit compared to him. I admire your brother so deeply. Like, she's just gushing. A very mean thing to say to your significant other of like, God, your brother rules.
So they're back at Otis's house, and Otis's wife is like, what? Otis's wife is just like, you're gonna make my husband a deputy? Really?
Yeah.
And then she does something kind of cool. She's like, so if he's a deputy and he sees some alcohol, what's he going to have to do? And he's like, well, clearly he's going to have to confiscate and dispose of it.
And then Hal Smith's facial expression during this is really great because he realizes what's happening and like he puckers his mouth and his eyes get really big and he starts like darting them around.
It's so good.
He's such a good actor. He's the best actor on this show.
And so she
Hands
pulls
down.
him into the kitchen. It's like, well, here's a tip, Sheriff. There is some alcohol in this room. What are you going to do, deputy?
More, she's like, all right, deputy, dispose of the alcohol that's somewhere in this building that I haven't been able to find yet.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I know for a fact there's alcohol in here. You have to get rid of it because you know where it is.
And he pulls out a plant. And it's hidden underneath the plant. He has this great line, well, thanks, now the plant's gonna die.
Yeah, he's like, I hope you're happy. Now your plant's gonna die. Like, he says it like really, like a scorned kid. Like, now your plant's gonna
so
die.
Funny.
He's so good, man.
He's pouring out the whiskey, and that's when Ralph and his wife show up.
He yells, he says, like, Andy's like, okay, now you have to pour it out. And he's like, but the government doesn't want us to waste food.
Yeah.
Which kind of supports your thing of, like, this thinks it's the Great Depression. And then Ralph shows up. And then just, like, I mean, do we even want to, like, describe this scene? Because it's literally just them going, like, hey, hi.
There is one funny bit where Andy says that, like, Otis is a great deputy. His specialty is breaking up stills and tracking down stills.
Yeah.
In fact, every time a new still pops up, he finds it faster than anyone. We wonder all the time how he finds these stills so fast.
Yeah.
And that's it. Then whatever.
And then just like you know the things that you say when you haven't seen a relative in a long time.
Yeah,
just like,
it's just that.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, you got fat.
Yeah.
You put on some weight. You look so nice. It's been so long. They just say that shit.
It's that for like 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's a scene, an entire scene of just things. The Andy Griffith Show does this thing that sort of drives me insane and makes it so we confuse this with real life and get angry at it like it's real life, where they just do bullshit that you see in your normal life, and it sort of like blurs reality from TV show.
And this is where, by the way, you mentioned that this episode feels like it takes no time at all. We're almost done.
Yeah,
there is one scene left in this episode.
Crazy. Where does this episode go? It's incredible.
So, back at the jail, Barney and Andy are having an argument, where Barney's like, yeah, or Andy's like, yeah, see, everything worked out fine, and Barney's like, no, we falsified documents. We are lying to the law right now. Falsifying. I just don't think we should falsify. We shouldn't be falsifying.
Well, they didn't falsify documents. That's the weird thing is, like, Andy does have the power to make anybody he wants a deputy.
Sure.
Yeah, Barney's just like, we falsified that he's always been a deputy. He's unclear about what's being falsified. Yeah. What else we got?
So Otis comes in and he's sad. Why are you sad, Otis? He's like, well, my brother left, and I think he's wandering around town to ask around and prove that I'm not a deputy. And he's going to find out, and we're all going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Again, that is an opportunity for mischief.
We got to run interference. We got to get everyone in town to say that Otis has been a deputy all the time.
Yeah, that's a good opportunity for comedy. That doesn't happen. Instead, here's the twist. Ralph enters, and he does the Otis thing where he stumbles in, grabs the keys, stumbles into the cell, locks himself in, puts the keys back, and then he says, well, that's how I do it where I'm from.
Which,
how do you do it here?
Here's the shitty thing. It's not even a twist. Because in the scene before, there's one part where Ralph is just like, hey, do you want to go get drunk together? And then Otis is like, no, I don't. I'm a deputy.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not even a fucking twist. It's just like, Ralph is just like, hey, I also like to drink with you. And then the next scene, they're like, Ralph also likes to drink? What?
Which kind of calls into question what the fuck the point of any of this was.
Yeah! They could have...
It could have just been an episode where, like, oh good, now there's two of them, and just Otis and his brother get drunk together.
That should have been the fun thing! Like, honestly, the thing that would have made sense in character would Otis, as soon as Ralph was like, hey, do you want to get fucking blasted together? Otis would be like, oh, thank God. And then just ripped off the uniform, like, let's go get annihilated together.
Never mind, Barney. Never mind, Annie. Thanks for the help. Bye.
We're cool. Don't worry. My brother's sister will think I'm a piece of shit, but whatever.
Yeah. Who cares about the opinion of a woman?
I barely care about what my wife thinks about me. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, so then Ralph comes in, and they get a little bit of shtick out of him. Actually, they milk this for shtick of him pretending to be drunk. And then
Otis tears into him.
It's insane. It's fucking crazy because he's like, I am so disappointed at you because I have made something out of myself as a deputy, and you are embarrassing me in front of my friends who have never seen me drunk. You are a piece of shit, Ralph, and a disappointment. You're worthless and nothing, which is so hypocritical.
It's insane.
And it's kind of like,
how did anyone write this with a straight face? How did Hal Smith deliver this with a straight face?
And the show knows it's hypocritical, but they don't even make a joke of how hypocritical it is. Like, Andy doesn't go like, haha, he's being a fucking hypocrite right now. This is so funny. Andy is just standing behind him going like, yes, hypocrisy, yeah.
And then Ralph says, you're right, Otis, I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
And he pulls a bottle out of his pocket, and he just drops it on the floor.
Yeah.
And, like, no one's like, dude, clean that up.
Fuck you. Yeah. No, but it's crazy. Like,
now there's broken glass in my jail cell. That's not a hazard at all.
Yeah, so Otis just lying about his entire life made his brother feel like a complete piece of shit. And then, you know what might have happened if, like, Otis had told the truth? They might have realized, like, oh shit, we have a drinking problem probably stemming from our childhoods or something like that. Yeah, maybe we can, like, work through this together. Instead, like, Ralph is going to feel like a piece of shit, try to get sober for, like, 4 months, relapse, feel like even more of a piece of shit, and then shoot himself. Oh, that's how that happened. Yeah, so horrible, like deeply hypocritical.
Well, Dan, you know that the best way, it's 1962, and the best way to deal with substance abuse is shame.
Yeah, the fuck you school of rehabilitation. Of just like, it was actually, yeah, it was a thing of like, when you have someone that has like a substance abuse issue, a burly man breaks into your house and just goes like, you piece of shit, you fucking garbage, you're worthless, why are you on this earth? Why did your mother crap you out, you piece of garbage? Stop it! Stop it! Everyone hates you! You're making everyone in your life miserable. Alright, I'm out. That'll be like $50 or whatever $100 was back then.
That's it, right? Like, yeah. The last scene is, they're hanging around the jail. Otis has not returned his uniform yet. Andy's making like a pinwheel out of
carving
a pinwheel.
What?
And he says that he thinks it's going to be a long time before Otis takes a drink, and it will be because this is the last episode of the season, so at least 3 months.
Yeah.
And Barney's like, I don't think so. And Otis enters, and Barney thinks he's drunk, but he's actually just been sucking in his gut and trying to walk.
Yeah, so this is like, this episode kind of taught me like something about morality, because like most things, they fall morally into like some spectrum of between good and bad, right?
Sure.
Even of like the gray areas. This falls into the area of what?
Yeah.
Like, what? You're not even on the map. Like, what the fuck are you trying to say? Like, what is this? Yeah, it's so weird and doesn't make any sense. And we're done. We are...
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm sorry. I've stopped actually looking. I'm looking at stuff on the internet now.
God.
I'm checking up on the Antonio Brown news right now. Like, what?
We have done it.
We're done.
We are through season 2.
Season 2 is over.
Which has been, I think, has had some great moments in it that surpassed season 1 in terms of holy fucking shit, and this shit is great. And it has also had deep, unbearable valleys of just pain and boredom and misery. And, you know, we did it.
We're through.
We accomplished this, and in doing so, really got nothing. I learned nothing.
I don't feel any different.
I think I understand the world and myself slightly less now, if anything. But so this may have hurt, but at least we got nothing out of it. What's your fucking Andy score, man?
I'm gonna give this like a 4 based on Hal Smith alone.
Hal Smith carries it. Yeah, I'll do a 4 too, just in keeping with our season 2 thing of not putting enough effort in to disagree. And Barney score
7.
I don't even know, man.
It's so fucked.
I don't even know. It's, you know what? It is the Cuba Gooding vehicle Snow Dogs. I don't know. It's
Snow
that.
Dogs out of 10.
Yeah, it's Snow Dogs out of 10. I have no fucking idea. What? I got
Season
nothing.
2, everybody.
Woo! That's a wrap.
That's a wrap on season 2.
All right.
So in the future, so we're gonna do one season finale. I think we've decided we're gonna watch The Incredible Mr. Limpet. That's gonna be our next episode.
A movie I have referenced a couple of times because I watched it a lot as a child, and the memories of what is in it haunt me.
And then we're gonna do a quick mini series of a different show for a couple of episodes, and then we're gonna take an official break.
Yeah,
they'll be probably right around the holidays, probably around November, December. So we will not be talking about the Andy Griffith Show for a while.
We just need a grip, guys. This one was rough. This was hard. And also, how many more times can I describe Don Knotts' body? Like, and it doing weird, bad things. I just need a grip. Please
stick around, though, till the end of these credits for the conclusion of Barney's Day Out, written by Not Your Guts and Jack Royce. This one does not star erotic Don Knotts, but we do have special guest voice Grant from History, Honeys, and Sex Archie, who has done some narration for us. Music you heard before was... I'm just burning through the end here. I'm done with this. Music you heard before...
Marty, for those listening at home, is putting on his hat and coat. He somehow got an old fedora and a trench coat. It is not cold out yet in Philadelphia. He's hailing a cab from inside the apartment?
The music you heard before was Max Ludwig. The music you're about to hear is Brothers Rye. We'll see you all down at the fishing hole.
Yeah, I'll come back now.
Crooked teeth and bones, honey. Time's took its toll. Give it one more chance, darling, before we get too old. Season's over. This town's drunk dry. Pull the shades on the windows. Ain't no shame in hide. They won't know the wicked toll. Leaves falling on my shoes. Plywood on the window. Them all-season blues.
And now, a Breaking Mayberry special presentation. Barney's Day Out by Not Your Guts and Jack Royce. Episode 4. Oh, Barn.
Andy sighed to himself as he set the letter down on his desk.
This is one barrel of kerosene pickles even I couldn't get you out of.
It had been much quieter around Mayberry since the news broke out of Washington, D.C. Much fewer false arrests, most of the tickets were for actual crimes committed, and aside from the occasional bootlegger feud on the outskirts of town, no unnecessary shots fired. Keeping the order was more than just a hair easier with his deputy indisposed. It was hard to complain, but Andy was downright bored most of the time. The silence was almost eerie inside the sheriff's office. Even Otis wasn't much for small talk anymore. It was like the town was holding its breath, waiting. For what? Andy couldn't be sure, but he did feel it was just a little too quiet. As he mused about the implications, Opie bounded inside the office with his normal greeting.
"Hey, Pa!"
the boy shouted, sending an echo throughout the room that nearly rattled the shingles off the roof.
Well, speaking of the devil.
Andy chuckled. He pulled open his desk drawer and slipped Barney's last letter inside while Opie approached.
What can I do for you, son?
Opie's brow furrowed with concern.
"Well, teacher said today in class that Barney is going to get executed. Is that true, Pa?"
That's executed, Ope. But yes, that's what's slated for old Barney.
Opie crossed his arms and his face screwed up in deep thought.
"Funny how that is, ain't it? You mentioned that election was coming up, and Barney went and tried it. Almost like he wouldn't have done it if—"
Now, Opie.
Andy interrupted softly. He set a hand on his son's shoulder and leaned forward to his eye level.
That right there is the quiet part. We don't want to say that too loud now, do we?
"I don't know what quiet is, Pa."
A smile crinkled at the edges of Andy's eyes.
Then we'd best not say it at all.
The radio sizzled to life as the dial found its destination. There was some preamble coming in over the wires, but nothing particularly ceremonial. No last words. They'd be there all day if they allowed it. A hollow thud of wood falling against wood, a single soft crack that wasn't loud enough to echo, and the creak of rope holding something heavy aloft. With that, Thelma Lou was free.